Hello, everyone. Welcome to Win TV. I am so incredibly excited to be here with Eugene Rogers this amazing Friday, this fantastic Friday. Eugene, first of all, I think before we even get into the nitty gritty of things, how are you doing?
I'm doing well and excited about our upcoming concert on April 4th with the Washington Chorus and this amazing cast of soloists, as well as obviously the recent news about coming back to the Washington Chorus for the next 5 years. So I'm doing well. I'm excited.
Well, you should be excited because there's a lot to celebrate. As you all know, I always say sharing is caring, and I'm seeing that folks are logging in. So before you even get too comfortable as you're watching, why don't you all just go ahead and share this stream? And I'm going to do the same and make sure that our folks in our Facebook and YouTube and Twitter families know
Yes.
all that is happening because I think April 4th is it's already a monumental and historic day in the Black community, and in some ways in a tragic way, right? But I love what you all are doing. This is going to be a historic moment for the Washington Chorus,
Yes, it is.
as well as for all of the consumers who get to appreciate it. Tell us
Absolutely.
a little bit about what's happening on April 4th.
Sure. April 4th, our Free at Last concert is our chance to celebrate. As we know, the 2023 is the 60th anniversary year of Dr. King's life-changing I Have a Dream speech. And for me, what better way than to celebrate this by highlighting a Black female composer who was born in Jarrett, Virginia, from the DMV area, who was the first Black female to be the Pulitzer Prize winner nominee for this work, Scenes from a Life of a Martyr. And for me, there's no better way than to honor Dr. King than through her work. This really secular oratorio called The Scenes from the Life of a Martyr that features 4 soloists and a narrator and the chorus and orchestra. And we just couldn't think of a better way to celebrate that than through celebrating a local composer and a work about his life, as well as one of the gems of the core repertoire, Duruflé's Requiem. One of the things I want to say about Undine Smith Moore, she talks about that all martyrs have lives, have things in common, and that this work, through a whole variety, is in the memory not only of Dr. King, but for all humanity, for all people who had a dream, for all people of all times, everywhere. And so yes, we're honoring Dr. King, but we're also thinking about all leaders. And again, the Requiem, something new and something traditional with this amazing cast of soloists. And that's the other thing. If you haven't heard Brandy Sutton, or if you haven't heard Rihanna Thelwell, who is a K-Fritz artist performer recently, you haven't heard Kenny Overton and the new emerging tenor, Demetrius Sampson Jr., you are in for a real treat. And so we are excited.
Well, I am so incredibly excited, and I'm going to be a journalist, so don't hate me, Eugene. I'm just going to correct something real quick because the fact checking is what I do. I'm managing
Of
evidence.
course.
But April 4th, I know is the 55th, I guess, anniversary of Dr. King's passing, correct? And then I think this August, I want to say it's like the 28th, is the 60th anniversary. And I only know this.
Yes.
And I keep up with it because my birthday is August 23rd. And so I'm always like, as we're celebrating, I have a dream, etc.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I should
Yes.
do something like that.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
just want to clarify that for our audience, and then sort of
Yes.
go into maybe a question that I suppose goes into your process, as well as how we can tap into the work, because I know that much of your journey, as you've had at the Washington Chorus, has been about bringing awareness to composers of color
Yes.
and to artists of color. And obviously, I Have a Dream and Dr. King is such a national icon. But it's so great that you've been able to incorporate these, again, history making premiere.
Yes. Yes.
And
Mhm.
in this, tell us a little bit about why you feel it's so important to uplift African American artists, to bring exposure to for Washington audiences, and in
Mhm.
particular for this piece. Why was
Yeah.
it so important?
Gosh, that's a loaded question, and I love it. So I'm going to answer
Sorry.
it a lot of different ways. And I want to first start off by saying that everybody talks about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and for me, it's a lived experience.
Mm,
It's I'm not doing things to check a box. I'm not doing things with an agenda. I just am not comfortable if everybody's story, or at least as many people's stories as possible, are not shown or heard or seen on that concert stage. That to me is diversity in the arts. Everybody should feel like they should be able to come and find themselves at least once a year in something that you're programming. So, and tandem with that, that's also a part of the Washington Chorus's vision and values. And so, when we agreed to work together, it was very symbiotic, and it was one that it was in alignment with each other. And so, this is an outpouring of my just life dream vision of the arts, as well as the Washington Chorus's mission and values. So it makes for a perfect wedding, if you will, a perfect marriage, if you
yeah.
will. um and then I would say, I so often we talk about the canon, and so often people have a list of canonical writers, artists, composers that haven't always looked like me, and others that I know of color. And so I'm very deliberate that every year, at least once, if not more, we are not only programming the traditional greats, but are we broadening our audience's ears? Are we broadening, again, the stories that we tell, which
Mm,
is not always going to be easy to listen to, right? Seven Last Words of the Unarmed is a work that I had the chance to premiere and
yeah.
champion by Joel Thompson, and the Washington Chorus joined Sphinx and Exigence recently on that performance. Why is that work so important? And yes, it deals with Black trauma, but it's also a conversation that needs to happen not just amongst African Americans. And I feel like now we're starting to have those conversations. However, scenes of a life, this work, scenes from the life of a martyr. What I love about her work is that she paints Dr. King not just based on his assassination. She
Correct.
depicts his life as a young man.
Yeah.
She depicts his life falling in love with Coretta, and with the love duet, Set Me as a Seal Upon Your Heart. She then goes into his call to the ministry, which we know that was equal to his, of course, being a civil rights leader, is that call, being called to
Yeah.
think outside of oneself. And then, of course, the tragedy of his assassination. That's only a small part of this work. So
Right.
a lot of it is joy, and a lot of it is love, which we know is all a part of also the Black story that needs to be told on the concert hall. So for me, this work represents, and hope, his triumphant ending of what he left. This is the
Mm,
message that she leaves, that, don't grieve for me. I lived my life. Tell every, because we know about the sadness of how much that affected our community, but when you think about all that he accomplished. So for me, this work is absolutely pertinent to have a Black female composer. This is the DC premiere of her work. It's been done a lot in a lot of places. Of course, it was done by the Richmond Symphony recently in the last 5 years or so, but this is the first DC performance of this powerful work. And I love Undine Smith Moore, and being I love to, again, champion people of color and local artists, composers. It's also a part of my mission and our mission at the Washington Chorus. So that's a long answer to your question, and I apologize if we went on too long, but I hope you were able to feel what I'm feeling through this.
I'm so feeling what you're talking about, and so again, thank you. And I do want to shout out Undine as well because it's Women's History Month now.
Yes, it
So
is.
though we're going, the performance will be in April. We still have to uplift Undine's not only for all the work that she's doing, but again for this DC premiere. It's a
Yes.
history making moment for our city and for someone who lives in our area and is from our area. I think
Yes.
it's just so incredibly exciting. So I
Mhm.
have to ask you, what do you hope audiences get from seeing this piece, and why should local audiences tap in?
Well, gosh, I never like to um, how do I say this? I don't know how people are going to feel after they come see a performance, but I can say that my deepest desire is that they feel as if we as a community are thinking about not only this amazing female composer, but also our leader, Martin Luther King. To me, Martin Luther King's message is universal. That's why it's a national holiday. And for me, I want everyone to feel like his story is our story. That when you see, and then I want them to experience Black and brown excellence on that stage through these remarkable singers who have performed on the Metropolitan Opera stage to their local communities. I want them to leave there hopefully with even more of an appreciation for the Black story, which is love, which is the power of ministry, which is all of that. Because sometimes, even sometimes Black stories can be very traumatic. That's the ones that we tend to sometimes see on the stage. And so I love that this work celebrates it from different perspectives. And I hope people leave there with an even more of an appreciation for that. Our commitment is, yes, to the Black community, but to the BIPOC community, and obviously our traditional community as well. But this concert has definitely a particular emphasis on Dr. King and Undine Smith Moore and these artists. And we hope folks will come out and have more of an appreciation for him and Undine Smith Moore.
Well, I know it. And of course, and more of appreciation for Eugene Rogers doing the thing, making sure it happens and getting these stories out there. So I know that you are planning for far past April 4th. Tell us what else should we be looking out for ups in this year?
I'll talk about this year. We end our year very humbled and excited to be collaborating again with the National Symphony Orchestra. We'll be performing Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, and it will become a recording project with the NSO in June. And so we're excited and humbled about that. So we'll go right into that concert immediately after April 4th. And then next year, we haven't announced our season yet. We're quite excited about announcing that. There are some wonderful things on the horizon next year as well with traditional, our goal is to celebrate not only the past, but also looking forward. And that is a part of what you'll see next year and what we do in our offerings. And so we're looking forward to June. Please come out and hear us June 1st, I think, through the 3rd with the National Symphony Orchestra as we perform Beethoven's Ninth Symphony.
Oh, that is so exciting. So, Eugene, you have to promise that you'll come back and tell us all of the ins and outs before June so that people feel like they have at least an up close and personal sneak peek before they come and see the show.
Thanks for having me and supporting our concert. I've enjoyed meeting you, and your energy radiates through the screen. And thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. I feel the same way. This has been an absolute blast, a wonderful way to kick off a Friday.
Yes.
And I just thank you for the commitment that you have into elevating BIPOC voices and ensuring that it gets out to the masses.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. We are looking forward to 4/4. That's not hard to remember, folks. So make sure you support it. We'll make sure I will ensure, and I should have done this pre-broadcast. That's bad on me, but I'll make sure that everything is hyperlinked so that folks can go ahead and click on their tickets. And of course, we'll have a story in next week's paper and online. So please tap into everything that the Washington Chorus has going on. Thank you, Eugene Rogers, and congratulations on another 5 years. Working all the business.
Have a wonderful weekend.
You as well. And thank you to all of our folks tuning in. Be sure to tune in to another episode of Win TV starting at noon. We are highlighting Black women in the press, and y'all will see that I'll be in a different location and even a different costume change.
Excellent.
All righty. Take care. Thank you so much, Eugene.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You